Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode. Today we are talking about radical candor. This is a topic that, let me tell you, is a hot button issue for some, is misconstrued by a lot of executives and leaders, but it's extremely powerful when utilized correctly. And I say correctly because a lot of people take radical candor as like, I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. I'm just going to say it like it is. I'm going to tell them like it is. I'm going to do what I think is right and blah, blah, blah. And just basically they're trying to use it as carte blanche to be a dick. That isn't it. That is not what radical candor is. Maybe it is what it is, but that's not how you use it effectively. At the end of the day, radical candor can be a very useful tool because it's very important to be direct and let people know exactly where they are at all times. The catch is, if used improperly, you just sound like a dick. You don't sound like you care. People don't believe that you're actually trying to help them, which is really the core of radical candor, right? You are ultimately trying to help them. And if you're not getting that across, you're doing something wrong. Radical candor doesn't mean anything at that point. You're just being a dick and nobody likes you. So how do you build on radical candor? How do you create radical candor in a healthy way? And that starts with two very, very important things. One is trust. You have to build trust. Two is empathy. You have to show empathy. Those things, when done over time and built with your team, with your people, will, over time, put you in a situation where you can have that conversation, be very candorous with somebody and say, listen, you're struggling. It's not working out very well. You dropped this ball. You didn't finish this like you were supposed to. Like, what's wrong? What's happening? How can I support you? This is not a good look for you. It's not a good look for your team. But I think you have the potential to do this. So how can I support you? What's happening? Or is somebody pulling your time away? Are you struggling with this concept? Like, what's going on? And if people think you care and you really want to help, they will 100% open up to you and say, hey, I appreciate you telling me this. I'm struggling with this at home. We got a new baby. We got blah, blah, blah. All those different things that it could be. Because they're human. That helps you understand what's going on. And then helps you put a game plan together to help support them, because if they're a good employee, you don't want to lose them for whatever reason they're falling off. Now, if they're not a great employee, it's a great training tool. It's a great, hey, this is not our standards here, you're here. Now I'm going to support you, and this is the training I think you should take, and this is how I think we can approach this, and I think, I'm going to team you up with this person over here who will help you coach you on the technical parts of this job and get you through this. And those are all things that are very helpful and very important in the growth of somebody's career. Some people aren't going to work out. There's no getting around that. There's just some people that are not going to work out. That's okay. It's not anything on them. It's not anything on you. That's just who they are. That's just that person just doesn't fit in this company at this time in this skill set. And that's okay. But being able to have those conversations, one, gives you a very clear path for them. It says, hey, this isn't working out. Here are the reasons why. I need to see this different. And that automatically creates your performance improvement plan or your exit package or whatever you're going to work out with HR to help this person find other things to do. And that's ultimately, when things get to that point, the best thing to have been is totally transparent. I've been in situations where somebody's standing in front of HR getting fired because their leader didn't tell them what was going wrong. They had no idea. They were absolutely blindsided. That's the worst feeling as an employee, to totally be blindsided and be like, I didn't even know I was doing a bad job and I'm getting fired for doing a bad job. That's terrible. So radical candor is exceedingly important. Everybody needs to know exactly where they are, and every moment you have an opportunity to connect with them. With that being said, it's not easy. It takes time. It takes a very concerted effort to build those relationships. But if you can do that, that is how you unlock a team. Because if you have radical candor amongst your people will have radical candor amongst themselves, because they will build trust, they will work together, and they'll start calling each other out and helping each other become better. And all those things come together to make a highly effective, functional team. And those are all things that if you don't do that, you will not have that. People will either leave or people will stay, which is worse. If they're in an apathetic state where they don't care, they're just collecting a paycheck, way worse. So it's on you as a leader to make sure that they're being utilized effectively as an employee, and that they find contentment in their work. happy is thrown around a lot. I'm more of a I want you to be content in your job. There will be moments of happiness, there will be moments of frustration. That's just the ebb and flow of a business. But overall, I want you to be content in your job. That's my goal as a leader, is to make you feel, hey, this job, I like this job. It works. Fits my skill set. I feel valued. I feel trusted. I have trust in my team and my people. And Radical Candor is the foundation of all of that. You just have to get the foundation of Radical Candor right. So we'll definitely talk more about this topic. I'm sure of it, because it's just, it weaves itself into a lot of different pieces of all the topics we're going to cover on this channel, but also a lot of things that people have. I've already gotten a couple of messages, and they're already both kind of touching on Radical Candor. That's why this week kind of went right into Radical Candor. But ultimately, the goal is to have Radical Candor in the proper way. Don't just be a dick. Be thoughtful, be empathetic, build trust. You got this. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe. If you have any questions or want input or want to throw an idea out to talk about, please, jason@leadfromhere.co or any of the social media channels. I appreciate it. Take care, everybody.